Yeah, I was saying that things haven't changed since we last did the pod, and I think they kind of have, haven't they?
Definitely changed quite a lot. I mean, I'm in a new house.
Yeah, that's one thing, but I'm like just talking about the world.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I think we had a conversation at work. I was thinking about this before we started recording, and we had a conversation a while ago about, I think it's in Black History Month, about the bloody English colonial past, and
Yeah.
and that is certainly looking.
My thing with that is that they must all fall down. What happened in Bristol was beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That was I don't understand how some people can come out and say anything against it. I mean, what have you got to say when you put a slave trader um literally on his pedestal and
Yeah,
immortalized him,
yeah.
and then someone pulls it down in the name of racism. What have you got to say back to that? I don't understand what anyone could say back to that.
Well, I think the Daily Mail did a pro and con of like slave owners and why I think they should have their statues. So it's like, yeah, okay, he had slaves, but he built a hospital.
Didn't he kill 20,000 people in one go on a
I would
boat that sunk?
imagine so, yeah. And it's like all these people are up in arms. And it's like, did you even know who Edward Colston was last week?
Yeah,
Forget last week, but in 2 days ago.
yeah. No, I mean,
Did you even know who he was?
thing is, I didn't even know who was. I know that Bristol was a big slave hub. That's all I knew about. Not all I knew about Bristol because it's got a great zoo by all accounts. But you know, I didn't know his name.
No, no, I didn't. I didn't either. And it was like, if that's what he was, and he had this thing, that was keeping him there because he was revered for whatever the hell he did in Bristol. I don't care if he, built a hospital or built roads. Like the man is evil, and it's kind of like a trend now that's going over the world. I think King Theopold's, I think that's his name, in Belgium, his statue got taken down because I think they tried to set it on fire and they had people like climbing on top of it.
Yeah,
And it's just like, if y'all don't know who he is and what he did, then you need to look up and understand why people felt compelled after Edward Colston. It was like, okay, you're next.
yeah. I
And
think
then
it's
the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy.
I think it's really good though. Like, I mean, that everyone seems to be like waking up to this. It's not some small minority like shouting anymore. It seems to be
Yeah.
much bigger movement, which is like about time really. Obviously, you still got the the people on the other side of the fence, which is
I
kind of
mean, I can't understand why you would be on the other side of the fence when it comes to racism. See, the
no,
problem with this
exactly.
country is that people are trying to play both sides with racism. And what I mean by both sides is, how if someone has an opinion about something, like for example, I can say Manchester United are the best club in England.
Yeah,
That's an opinion. You can argue otherwise, and you would be more than entitled. If I say racism is wrong, I don't expect an opposing side. Because if I did expect an opposing side, you'd be a racist.
yeah,
Or, as the BBC would call it, anti racism critic.
yeah.
For me, it's this kind of last month, not even month, but like maybe fortnight or so. It's been an eye opener because if you kind of speak to a lot of black people, not in this country or America, like around the world, most that they will say to you is that I'm tired, man. Like I am just fed up of the rubbish. I'm fed up of having to defend my humanity. I'm fed up of having to explain to people and to convince people that I should matter. I should exist. I should be able to live without having the fear of not getting shot at or not encountering any kind of trouble. And for me, it's like, again, it's gone to the point where I've lost friends over this, because it's like they don't get it and they choose not to get it. And now we've kind of reached that moment. I think I said it last week, where it's like we've crossed the Rubicon now. You need to pick a side. And if you're not with it, in terms of me being able to live equally with my white counterparts, then you need to get on gone, because I'm tired of the gaslighting. I'm tired of people going, yeah, but this, yeah, but that. And as soon as you say the word racist or racism in this country, people are like, oh my God, racism, racist. Why are you calling me that? Instead of saying, oh, racism, damn. What can I do to make it better, or what can I do to help understand, or for me to become better on this subject matter? And it's kind of, and obviously people will look at it and think, oh well, it's an American problem, everyone's all up in arms because of what's happened in America. But there's two things to that. Number one, like, as a black man, as a black person, our struggle is, it's a worldwide thing. It affects all of us. It doesn't matter if I'm living in the UK, if I'm living in Asia, America, wherever. It affects us all. And secondly, if you're watching a video of a guy who's on the ground and a police officer's got his knee on his neck to the point where he cannot breathe for like 8 9 minutes, to the point where he dies, and you don't feel anything other than sympathy and compassion, then what are you? What are you? And trust me, in this country, we've got problems with the police of our own. Believe me, I know. I was about to swear there, but like, I know.
Yeah.
And even, okay, maybe the police in this country are not armed to the teeth. I mean, if they were, then best believe they would have, done as much or just as much damage as what they do in America. And yeah, I mean, it's it's one of those. It's been one of those times where maybe things are changing, but my kind of thing is, why did it take now? What was it about now that's changed? I mean, I'm not complaining. If Angela Davis, who was in the Black Panthers, is coming out and saying that, oh, maybe this time something might be happening, then I'll be inclined to go with that remarkable woman and agree with what she's saying. And it's kind of like, if it didn't take Trayvon Martin, who was a child and was followed and murdered, or Tamir Rice, who was 12, or yeah, he was 12 years old when police just killed him. Cold, like, just, he's there playing with his friends as you do as a 12-year-old, and dead. And it's crazy because, like, even before all of that, I was so naive to the world. Like, I was all lives matter. My kind of thing was, you know what, things were really bad back in the day, and we should be grateful that they're not so bad now. And you look at it and it's like, yeah, it is bad. And I think it goes back to what Will Smith was saying, that racism hasn't gone away, it's now being filmed. So now we're watching film of George Floyd being killed with a police officer on his neck. We can watch Ahmaud Arbery, who's literally going for a jog in the neighborhood. Like, I go for a jog all the time. He's going for a jog, and the next minute he's set on and he's just killed, murdered. And it's, I mean, if all of those things you keep doing it, and it's like it's a whole thing. It's not just these incidents. It's like stuff that has been happening forever.
Yeah.
Not even just now, forever. And not just America, here too. That's why we're trying to get rid of all of these statues and whatnot. And even like in this country, like the racism is just it's so like I don't even know, not overt, but like covert. Like it's in the sense that it's perfectly fine for someone to just kind of say, talking about immigration the way we talk about immigration, like, oh yeah, there's too much of these people and we shouldn't really care about what happens. Or you go to a newsroom and the only like black people you're gonna see are cleaning the toilets. It's sure as hell not sitting in the editor's desk. It's sure as hell not sitting part of it. And it's we're just as screwed up in this country as America is. Whereas at least in America you can go somewhere and kind of talk about it. Whereas here it's you can't really talk about racism because you have to have someone with an opposing side, which translation is a racist. And I think, as you kind of said, a lot of white people are kind of reconciling with this. And for me, I've had text messages, I've had lots of, not lots, but like a few like of my white friends who have reached out and said like, I hope you're okay, we're checking in and all this stuff, and we want to learn and we want to truly understand. We want to get it. And for me it's like, okay, come through, get it, like understand, learn, listen, see what the hell we're talking about when we talk about systemic racism and we talk about the things that are happening, because it's happening whether you want to believe it or not. And for all those other people who may have been friends of mine but aren't anymore, like I see y'all with your Blackout Tuesday and your black squares on Insta.
What does that mean?
Oh yeah, because I know you're not on the socials. There was a thing on Instagram where you say Blackout Tuesday, you put like a black square, and you would say like Black Lives Matter. We're part of the struggle now.
Oh, I
Yay!
see. So they're doing all of it for show, but not
It's a
in reality.
yeah. It was like a self-congratulatory thing. I mean, look, the idea was cute, but I don't think it was well thought out. I just thought it was, again, it was a vanity project where, oh, because my fave celeb did it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it as well, and I'm doing my part. I can wash my hands and say racism is over with. It's like,
Yeah, I think for a long time we've been led to believe that we're on the front foot with racism, and like you've got things like the positive discrimination and the quotas you have to fill for workplaces and stuff like that. And I
yeah,
think like you know you've kind of been like led to believe that it's all right because the only problem is that black people aren't getting top jobs. Do you see what I mean?
yeah,
And it's not like a that's the only kind of level of racism we have to deal with because we don't have to deal with the normal you know you know just being abusive now. That's done. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think so now for this whole thing to have a light shone on it is really good. To actually no, this is a much bigger problem than filling a quota. Do you see what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. And it's, again, there does seem to be like an awakening of sorts,
Yeah,
because for the longest time, when people used to say Black Lives Matter, I used to have friends of mine going, "Don't you think all lives matter?" And I'm like, man, get out of here with that bull jive about all lives matter. Like I'm not saying that. Like, this house is on fire. I'm not
yeah,
gonna go and say all houses matter. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. Put water on all the houses.
Yeah, let's work on all the houses, even though one is, it's a raging inferno. Not even just a fire; it's a raging inferno, and it's been on fire for 400 plus years. And like best believe, like anyone who used to say in the past, but what, all lives matter, or this isn't happening, or white privilege doesn't exist. It's like,
Yeah, that's
yeah, they
rubbish. Yeah.
all exist, and if you can't reconcile with your privilege, then I'm not going to be here to talk you through it, to babysit you and tell you everything. If you can't come to terms with it, then get on gone. Because I literally haven't got time for that. And it's like I said, I've lost friends over this, and I'm probably gonna lose a couple more. And frankly, my dear, I don't give a toss. I'm sure that's not the line from the film, but
Casablanca. Is it Casablanca?
yeah,
Is right.
I think it is. Yeah, but it's yeah, like that is my attitude and mentality, and I'm glad that you, as a white guy, you get it.
I think that's the part. Obviously, I'm very much at the beginning of my journey. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's something I've found that you have to keep learning about, and you keep like it's never done. It's not like okay, I understand it now and I get it. And it's a thing where sometimes it's like your heritage is under attack. Like, as in, I'm English, I'm white, and all of a sudden, like, sometimes it can feel like all of my heritage is bloody and horrible, and to a degree it is. But I think it's understanding that, to understanding where you came from, understanding what black people went through and what they're still going through, and it's on a daily basis, and it's not just like, um and it's not just outward stuff. It'll be going into a shop and having more eyes on you. It'll be going through
Yeah,
customs and having someone check your passport longer than they check a white person's passport. And and it's like I said, I'm at the beginning of my journey, and I will continue to learn about these things, and hopefully somehow make a difference in the future. But
yeah, yeah.
certainly
That
beyond that.
is, it's exactly that. It's being followed in a shop constantly. It's even at school, like you'd have people or kids deliberately not talk to you, not acknowledge you even exist. Like I remember in football, like in PE, like I'm pretty good at football. I was back then. I probably still am. And I would deliberately be chosen last.
Really,
Or like I'll be one of the last to be chosen.
I mean,
And
I was
even
too,
then
but
it would
that's
be
because I
like,
was rubbish.
but I wasn't. And it would always have to be like, and again it'd be people not passing the ball to me.
Yeah,
Where it'd be like I'd have to take the ball myself and do something. And then even then it's going to a bank and getting asking for a loan and not getting it. It's trying to get a nice house in a nice neighborhood that you can't get. It's all of those things. It's all of those things rolled up into one. Like it is a systemic thing.
hmm
And before, from the low part, you have to start there. You got to start at the top, where it's the systemic racism and white supremacy. That is where you start, and then you go from there. But yeah, I mean, the fact that now people are now saying Black Lives Matter, okay, it's a start. Like you said, it's the beginning of a journey, but the journey doesn't stop. We have to we have to keep going. We have to pursue this until there is justice
yeah,
for all. And I just wanted to kind of say before we start the show, I think there's a petition to reopen Shukri Abdi's case. She was a student, 12. I think she was about 12. Like she went through the most horrific bullying, and I think she drowned, and her family believe she was murdered, but like the case was closed. It was a terrible accident. Let's put it to the side. But it's not. It's not. Like,
Was this the girl that drowned in a swimming pool?
yeah, I think it was a lake, wasn't it? It
Oh, was it like
was like a lake, yeah, yeah. And
because there was the other. Sorry, go on.
no, I was gonna say I'm gonna put the link for the petition, and I really hope you all sign that petition and get that case to open, because there is a blatant injustice being carried out here for Shukri's family, and I want everybody to go and look at this case and sign the petition. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put it on the links when the episode drops, and I sincerely hope that you all sign that petition and make sure that the case is reopened and the perpetrators are
Apprehended.
punished and apprehended, exactly. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think I'm checked out on this.